Toronto Maple Leafs star forward Mitch Marner's trade value was revealed in a report stating 4 potential trade options for the Toronto Maple Leafs this offseason. And I'm going to break down all these trades for you guys coming up on this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into it, we got to say that 88% of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you're big hockey fans, just like all of us here in the channel, and you want to keep up to date on what's happening around the hockey world, what's happening with the Leafs, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be here every day talking hockey, and you're not going to want to miss out on that. But with that said, let's get right into the main topic of the video today, which is 4 potential Mitch Marner trades. And before we get into these trades, we're going to talk about Mitch Marner, his season so far, just to get a little bit of value for you guys. So this season, he had 85 points in 69 games. Obviously, well over a point per game player this year. In the playoffs, he had 3 points in 7 appearances. And then last year, having that 99-point season in 80 games, probably could have cracked the 100 this year if he didn't get injured late and could play all 80 or 82 games. And then in the playoffs last year, he had 14 points, 3 goals, 11 assists in 11 games played. So as you see here, Mitch Marner as a whole, 27-year-old right winger that shoots right. Obviously is under a lot of criticism right now from Leafs fans and Leafs media for the playoffs that he just played, which has made a lot of people think that maybe the Leafs will break up the core 4 and trade Mitch Marner this offseason. And I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and one thing I've seen from Frank Seravalli actually is he said that, if you're the Leafs and you don't worry about this no move clause, because you go to Mitch Marner and you say, hey, we're not going forward with this extension. We can either trade you and work with you to get a trade, or you can play your final season at $11 million on a team that doesn't want you and just move on. So this was a report from Frank Seravalli, who's an NHL insider. This is what he said about Mitch Marner, which has led a lot of people to think maybe he will be traded and this no move clause won't be something to worry about. So today from Sportsnet, we got some 4 potential trade options. So I'm going to go through them all with you guys here now. And the first one is to the Seattle Kraken. The Seattle Kraken get Mitch Marner. Toronto gets Shane Wright and Adam Larson. And obviously, Shane Wright is, 4th overall pick. Adam Larson is, a big right shot defenseman. And the reason here why they're saying Toronto does this is Larson is a large right shot defenseman who logs significant minutes. He's 32 in November and is eligible to become a UFA after next season. So you certainly hope to extend him 3 years beyond that. Wright has been through it, obviously still trying to find his footing in the NHL. He says the Toronto area kid was projected to go number 1 in 2022 for years in advance of the event, then fell to number 4 on draft day. His development has been hindered by pandemics, trades, bouncing between leagues, but last year he spent more or less than the entire winter with the AHL and looked good when he joined the Seattle for the final days of the schedule. Notched 4 goals in 5 games. It sure seems like the righty has a future as a reliable 2C, and he's still on his entry-level deal for the next 2 seasons. And they say here why the Kraken do it. They've already fired a coach, so Seattle is obviously itching for more. This squad has a framework in place, but lacks high-end talent. Marner adds a serious dose of just that. And I really do like this trade for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know a lot of you guys are going to say Shane Wright's a bust, but what's this kid like? 20 years old, maybe 21 years old now, still has lots of time to develop here in the NHL, and is a big reason why I like this trade is because you're getting another young guy to add to this young core of Matthew Nyes, Easton Cowan, Fraser Minton, and obviously, like you say here, he had a very solid end to the season up with the Kraken. He notched 4 goals in 5 games. And, one of the best, junior prospects coming out of the juniors in a long time, like they said, was projected to go number 1, but then ultimately fell to 4th after the Montreal Canadiens drafted Juraj Slafkovsky. So maybe this guy just needs, some greener pastures. Maybe he just needs to find a new home to get going here in the NHL. And I think playing on a Toronto Maple Leafs team that has such star-studded talent could really help this guy out. You play him maybe on the second line with a William William Nylander and maybe move Tavares to that third line, but I would really expect him to come in as in the third line role here, playing with maybe Easton Cowan, who's coming up maybe next season, and Matthew Nyes have a nice little young guns line going, and I think that could be really lethal for this Toronto Maple Leafs team, and that's the reason I really like this trade. Also, you're getting a big right shot defenseman who the Leafs have been looking for in Adam Larsson. Obviously, at 32 years of age, is getting a bit older, but you can assign him to re-sign him to or extend him to a 2-3 year deal and just lock this guy up. And this guy is a menace back there on the blue line. He's a guy who's going to block shots for you. He's going to lay the body, but he also has a rocket of a shot from back there. He's not afraid to shoot the puck, put it on net if someone's parked in front of the goalie. And I think this is what the Leafs really need. It'd be a great retool for them, bringing in a younger asset that, if it doesn't work out, they could potentially trade in the future and then get a big right shot defense back, which would really help this team going forward. And if the team sees fit to trade Mitch Marner, this is an option that I really like, and I really think that Seattle could take a look at. But there is another trade option here, and that is to the Calgary Flames. And this is a big package here, so just hear me out on this one. It says Calgary Flames get Mitch Marner, Fraser Minten, Nick Robertson, and Timothy Liljegren. And the Toronto Maple Leafs get Jacob Markstrom, Rasmus Andersson on 25% retained salary. And this is one actually that in a previous video that Mark Griffith on the channel actually put forward. And the Sportsnet maybe, copied that trade and put it up on there. But they say why the Leafs do it is both Markstrom and Anderson are under contract for 2 more seasons. You're adding a goalie who had a great underlying numbers last year, albeit at the age of 34, and adds a right shot D-man who plays big minutes with Calgary Flames, retaining a bit on Markstrom. It's basically a wash cap-wise, and you're adding big pieces into areas of need. Minten is a quality prospect, but the emergence of the 2023 first rounder Easton Cowan and the presence of youngster Matthew Nyes gives you enough next generation guys up front. And you can pause the video and read what the Flames do. We're talking about the Leafs today, but this is why I really like this trade. I think you are giving up a little bit here in giving up Nick Robertson, Fraser Minten, Liljegren, and Mitch Marner here. But you are getting 2 great pieces back that the Toronto Maple Leafs really need. Going into next season, they don't have a number 2 backup goalie, and maybe they want to take a page out of the Boston Bruins book by having 2 great solid goaltenders that can split these games this season, maybe go back and forth in the playoffs, because obviously Joseph Woll is going to be a great goaltender. He is a great goaltender right now. You add in the veteran experience of Jacob Markstrom with 2 of these guys. And Joseph Woll can learn a lot from Markstrom. I think it would just be a great trade for their goaltending. It would really show some solid goaltending work from both these guys here, and they would just really be phenomenal in net for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. And then you're getting a guy like Rasmus Andersson, a guy who can easily quarterback a power play, an offensive guy that the Leafs kind of really need. They kind of need that big offensive defenseman type guy. They tried to add it with John Klingberg in the offseason. Unfortunately, he had that injury. So getting a guy like Rasmus Andersson, who has proven to do this just last season with the Calgary Flames, would be a huge addition. He could easily quarterback this power play. He's a guy who's not afraid to shoot the puck every now and then. So maybe you free up Riley here by adding put a defensive defenseman up with him, and then you have 2 solid D-lines of guys who can really do it offensively, and I think this could really help the Toronto Maple Leafs this way. And I know a lot of you guys are saying this is a lot to give up. You're giving up Fraser Minten, you're giving up Nick Robertson, 2 young guys, 2 young prospects, the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But in saying that, you are getting a kind of win now type of situation where you're getting a already established great goaltender in Jacob Markstrom, a guy who can mentor a young goalie like Joseph Woll, and you're also getting a great defenseman in Rasmus Andersson who is really going to help improve the power play numbers, help get a lot of assists from the blue line. Just he's great on his zone exits, and just his passing ability is phenomenal. So you're getting two of these guys that the Leafs really need, and you are giving up Mitch Marner, obviously, but I think this is a solid trade, and with coming in on salary retained, is definitely a great option for the Toronto Maple Leafs here. Obviously, like I said, you're going to give up Fraser Minton, but you already have Easton Cowan. You're not giving him away in this trade. This guy had a phenomenal season in the OHL with the London Knights, so he still has that opportunity to jump up here and get into this lineup. But I really like this trade here. I think it's something really solid that I think improves both teams. Like, obviously, Calgary's kind of looking for a retool now, so getting these younger guys here in Robertson, in Fraser Minton, and even getting Timothy Liljegren on the defensive end would really help this team out. And obviously, they're going to get a star player in Mitch Marner, a great playmaker that they can pair up there on that top line and just really help the offense of the Calgary Flames. So it's a great trade for both sides. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it down below. Might be my favorite trade here today, but we're going to get into the next one here, which is for the Philadelphia Flyers. The Philadelphia Flyers get Mitch Marner, and the Toronto Maple Leafs get Scott Laughton, Mario Ferraro, and a 2024 second-round pick. And the San Jose Sharks receive Oliver Bonk in a three-way trade here. And they say why the Leafs do it is Laughton's name was out there before the deadline, but only if somebody blew Philly away with an offer. That's because he's hard to play against. He's a hard to play against center who could settle in as a great 3C or play up in the 2-hole, especially if one of his wingers was talented as fellow Oakville native John Tavares or stud William Nylander. They say Laughton turns 30 this summer and makes $3 million against the cap for 2 more seasons. Ferraro, meanwhile, is a 25-year-old lefty D-man who counts for basically the same number also for 2 years. You could probably add these guys and still take a run at Tanev or flip San Jose's second rounder, which would be the 33rd overall selection in the draft for help and goal or the blue line. And this is a trade that may not jump off the page to a lot of people, but you are getting a solid center here, a guy who could fill that 3C role for you. You're getting Mario Ferraro, a guy we talked a lot about here on the channel, a great defensive defenseman that the Toronto Maple Leafs were looking at previously before the trade deadline. So this could be a really interesting trade. Might be one of the weaker trades we talk about today, but I do really like it. I think, even getting a second rounder back is a pick that you can flip for somebody else, like they say, for help on the blue line, for help and goal. It would be, something that would be interesting here. Obviously, you're not getting a star, player back like you are getting a Markstrom or an Anderson or a Shane Wright or an Adam Larson, but it is a solid trade to kind of fill out the bottom 6, fill out the defense a little bit, and get, some draft capital to maybe even draft a guy at the draft or flip for somebody else before the draft. It is a very interesting trade. I think Mario Ferraro would really fit in well with this Toronto Maple Leafs team. And obviously on the Philly end, you're getting a high-skilled winger like Mitch Marner that could really help them out. I think they were just one piece away from making the playoffs this year, and I think that piece could be Mitch Marner. This is a trade that, is a solid trade if it goes through. Yeah, you'd be happy with it because, they want to get rid of Marner by the looks of it, or maybe they don't. It'll be interesting to see what they do here, and this is a good option here. And the last option we're going to talk about today is the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they say the Columbus Blue Jackets received Mitch Marner in this trade, obviously, and Toronto Maple Leafs received the 4th overall pick and center wing Kent Johnson. They say what Leafs do it is you're probably clearing upwards of $9.5 million in cap space that you could immediately turn around and throw at the blue line, free up a little more cap space. You might be able to take a little jit run at 2 right shot Ontario guys in Tanev and Brandon Montour. They say your Johnson is an RFA who seems very much in line for a short bridge contract. He got loads of skill, but things haven't gone smoothly in Ohio for the 24-year-old. The Leafs could dangle number 4 pick for an immediate return or take a blue liner in this defenseman-rich draft who won't help them right now, but could be a major fix from 2026 to 2040. And obviously, you're getting a 4th overall selection here in this trade. That is big draft capital to have. And like they say here, you could even flip this for, a higher end talent. You're freeing up cap space by getting Mitch Marner, so you can get, a big fish in by using this 1st round pick as bait, or in a, like they say, in a defenseman-rich draft pool here this year, they could easily take a guy that, won't help them now, but will help them, in the future and stuff like this. And you're also getting Kent Johnson here, who is a phenomenal guy, phenomenal player. Obviously, hasn't found his footing with this Columbus Blue Jackets team, but I think if you implement him into this Toronto Maple Leafs team, he could easily be a guy who could break out of his shell and just have a great year with the Toronto Maple Leafs and this star-studded roster. And he's a guy who plays center, he plays wing, he can play wherever on your team as long as it's in the forward lines. So it would be fun to see him come to Toronto as well. This may be one of the, weaker trades that we've talked about today, but it is one that kind of gets your brain going, because would they potentially give up Mitch Marner for a 4th overall selection to pick somebody at the draft, or would they flip this to get a great star in here, which I really think that they could use this pick as bait. If they free up this $9.5 million in cap space, they use this pick as bait, maybe bait Fraser Minton and Nick Robertson with this pick, and they could bring in somebody, a really big player, a big name player into this team, whether it's to put him in the forward line, whether it's to try to, shore up the defensive lineup within the Toronto Maple Leafs. They could really use this pick to do that, to bring somebody else in, but they could also use it to draft somebody as well. So it is an interesting trade here. My favorite trade that we talked about today actually is the Shane Wright trade. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to say the Calgary Flames trade, but I do really like the Toronto Maple Leafs taking a shot on a guy like Shane Wright, a guy who has showed his improvement throughout the last few games of last season, and he's only like 20 years old or 21 years old, so you have him for a long time. He's from the area, and he's probably a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan, wants to play for his hometown team. I think that would really help this guy's development a lot, and just be a great future asset for this team, help him grow with this team, and maybe help the Leafs, in the playoffs and stuff like this. Also, you're bringing in Adam Larson, who's a guy who's just going to, wrap up that defense for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. And I really do like this trade if they do decide to trade Mitch Marner. But I want to hear from you guys. What are your guys' favorite trades that we talked about today? Let me know down below in the comment section. We're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Mark. He says, great video, no bias, just facts and great reasons why both teams have a chance. And obviously, he's talking about the prediction video we did, talking about the Oilers versus Canucks series that actually starts tonight. It's one that I'm really excited for. We see Archer Seelovs getting the start tonight, which will be fun to see. And I think, obviously, whenever two Canadian teams battle in the playoffs, it's going to be a fun series to watch. And I can't wait to sit down and watch that one tonight. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road for 3,500 subscribers here on the channel, so if you want to get us one more sub closer to our goal, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to check out that video we did talking about the series preview between the Canucks and Oilers, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. We'll catch you in the next one.